Hi, everybody. Welcome to Global Impact Virtual Conference hosted by ISTE Community Leaders. Welcome to Inclusive Teaching, Combining Proactive Planning with UDL Lesson Design in Teacher Professional Development. Hello, guys. My name is Mamta Verma, and I work as a District Special Education Instructional Specialist in Brazosport ISD, which is located in Clute, Houston, Texas, United States. I have added a QR code for more information about myself. It has my contact information and my LinkedIn profile. Before we start, I want you to take to the fun part of this presentation. We will go for shopping. Okay, guys, what do you see here? You see an image of uh, a family of four who are going to a shoe store to buy shoes. So they all had different shoe sizes. Unfortunately, the store they went to, it offered only one size that was a size 9, and and that size didn't fit any one of them. So this raises the question how a store can offer one size fits all shoe size that doesn't fit anyone. Now, let's take this analogy to the classroom where every student has a unique way to learn. Is it possible to meet the needs of student with one size fits all approach? So let's keep thinking. We will talk more one size fits all approach. I hope it make some connection with the classroom teaching. Okay, so now I want everybody to look at their fingerprints. When you look at your fingerprints, we know that our fingerprint on each finger, they are diverse. They are not alike, right? They're all different. They're all different. So even when the two kiddos, the identical twins, they have different diverse learning impressions, learning prints. Now my question is, we have heard this debate, learning variability and one size fits all, like debate everywhere, right? Let's think about it. When our fingerprints are not same, where our brains are not same, our background in knowledge is not same, our whatever information we process so far is not same. We process what is information is being provided in the classroom in a different way based on our background experiences and readiness. Then how one size fits all approach or teaching method is used in the classroom to cater the diverse learners in the classroom, how it's going to meet the learning needs. It's a huge question about learning variability. Before we move further, I just want to show you this picture. This picture, I got it from internet. I adapted a little bit. In this picture, there are three terms I'm using: equality, equity, and accessibility. You guys might have heard about these three terms. Equality is the first picture is of equality where everybody is treating equally. So we see here the three students who are diverse learners or learner variability are trying to watch a game. In the first image, so everybody got the same support. So they have been treated equally, whereas one student could not watch the game. In the second image, the different supports are provided to make it possible they have equal access to the game. So they are treated equitably. It's equity. In the third image, all three can see the game without any supports or accommodations because the cause of inequity was addressed and systemic barrier was removed. So that is known as accessibility. So in next couple of slides, we will talk about UDL. UDL framework is providing accessibility and removing systematic barriers so everybody can be benefited. So what is universal design for learning? The universal design for learning is a framework to improve optimized teaching and learning for all people based on scientific insights into how human learns. So basically, the CAST is an organization which provide guidelines of universal design for learning, and it came from architecture. It is adopted from the architecture design of architecture. So there are basically three brain networks: affective network, then it has a recognition network and strategic network. Why, what, and how, and it is based on brain based learning. Whenever we plan, there are four components planning. Whether we do any kind of event planning or lesson planning, there are always four components of planning. The first one is goal, second is assessment, third is method, and materials. After looking at all these images, you might see that I am just giving a little indication we are going to start planning a birthday event to create a connection between event planning and lesson planning. How we can plan an event and how can we plan a lesson. So we will be drawing some parallels with both activities. The reason why we did in professional development in our district when we were planning UDL, so there was question from the teacher why we are adding one more thing to their plates. So as we all know, we all learn from our real life experiences. If we connect to the real life, so then we understand that it is coming from where it is coming from. It is not a new framework, it's from the brain networks, and it we are bringing from them from our real life experiences. So we are trying to connect with that. So that's why we are trying to use this. So when you're asked to plan an event, what would you do? What first question come to your mind? Anyone? Anybody? No, I can't hear it. Okay. So here is my list when I brainstormed. It's not complete. So this is my working list. So first thought came to my mind because I was planning my granddaughter birthday. So the budget, the money, how much money do we need? Then we created a guest list and guest list since we are planning a 6-year-old birthday. So we thought about it, whom we are going to invite, whether there will be people who need some accessibility, they have accessible issues, or there are mothers with strollers, little babies, teens, especially my granddaughter's 6-year-old friends, her first grade friends. So there are a lot of when we started adding the guest list was there is a variability in the guest list. We have all from toddler to newborn to girls, infants, and teens. Then we have adults, and then we have people like people, aged people with accessibility issues as well. Then venue. If we are inviting such a learner, diverse guest, so we need to look at the venue, whether venue is accessible for all the needs we anticipate. Invitation date and time, it is very important because we need to look at it if we are doing in the morning time or afternoon time or daytime, evening time. So whether it's going to interfere with the nap time or maybe with some like adult people, their work day or some day, there are so many other factors are involved, so we need to consider all those. Then came to party theme and games. We thought about it, okay, whether this party theme will be appropriate with the diverse guest list we have, and the games. Are we catering the needs of everyone? Are we catering teens because they get bored easily? Then our infants, what type of games they have, and then our older people, how we gonna engage our older population, adult population. Then cake, food, and drinks, right? Considering the fact that whether the people whom we are inviting have any food restrictions, limitations, vegan, nut allergy, milk allergies, or other, all the issues we need to consider when we are considering to buy food and drinks. So we need to bring multiple option of food and drinks and make sure it should be labeled. Last, not least, I believe so. No, I don't think so. It's a last shopping list. So we need to create a shopping list. Oh my God, I forgot. Oh, my planning committee, right? Who's gonna do what? I can only control budget. I can only control guest list. But who's going to do the RSV to look at the restrictions, limitations? Who will plan the invitation? Who will decorate the party? Who will create the games and plan the games? Who will order the cake, food and drinks? Oh my God. Am I forgetting something? Guys, you can remind me. Okay. So it's not complete. So we will come back. Okay, guys. How does your planning help when you predicted barriers and remove proactively? Let's a little reflection. Here, I just want to share an article. I wrote an article planning an inclusive and accessible birthday party the UDL way for my granddaughter. Here I try to capture all the barriers proactively, but even after doing that, I found when I did the evaluation, I found something we need to work on it. So here is, if you want to read, make sure take your time to read it after the presentation. I have given a QR code and link. So please do read it and give me the feedback, what I have missed. Friends, now we have did the event planning, right? So we proactively thought about all those barriers, and we talked about our learner variability, right? When planning an event, do you think it's gonna help? It's gonna remove all those barriers, although there will be some barriers, but still, have we tried to remove the maximum barriers? Yes, I think we did. Now, let's try to connect with the Universal Design for Learning framework lesson planning. So, here are the three questions based on the brain networks we should ask. The first one is engagement network. Does this lesson give choices that help all learners to regulate their own learning, sustain effort and motivation, and engage their interest? Then comes our representation network. Does we provide choices that help all the learners so they can reach to the higher level of comprehension and understanding? They can understand symbols and expression. They can perceive what they need to learn. Then it comes to action and expression, strategic learning. Does this activity offer options that help all learners act strategically, express them fluently, and physically respond what they have learned in the lesson? So this is UDL lesson design. Now in the middle you see consider learner variability. The first thing is we craft learner goals, which is very important. What is the purpose? Why we want to teach, right? So anytime you create a learner goal, the learner goal is create flexible, clear goals and ask what is the goal of the lesson. Then comes assessment. Don't forget to consider learner variability. Help gather information about learners' performance and help educators to make educational decisions based on the data. Methods. Don't forget to consider learner variability. What teaching approaches are needed to address learner variability and ensure that students are able to learn the information? Materials. Again, consider learner variability. Choose the materials that offer flexibility and relevance, as balance assisted with the challenge. So now we are going to talk about there are two types of goals. The student need to be able to identify center idea with the text. So we can craft constructive goal, we can craft flexible goal. So let's craft flexible goal. See how it looks. So flexible goals allow all learners to reach their goals because they are flexible in nature, leave room for multiple options, how the students are going to engage in learning and achieve the same goals according to their need and their preferences. So this is flexible goal. So when we are offering flexible goal, our goal should be the flexible goal. We will be able, the student will be able to recognize a central idea within a text. So what options we are offering for representation? We offer graphic novel, article or poem, and it is embedded with all those apps or tools which can read to them. If they have any issues with reading, then let's look at we are offering options for action and expression to see if they have learned. So we can give them like a multiple options. They can create a PowerPoint, they can draw, act out, create a model, or write. So we are offering them choices to express the way they need to express themselves, what they have learned from the lesson. So next goal, the student needs to know, to understand, and to be able to do. Write a multiple paragraph essay. So this is what? What is this? This is constructed goal. So what are constructed goals? Constructed goals limits how students are going to achieve because they doesn't give enough room, doesn't give enough options. So it can only be used when the purpose of lesson is like for writing, speaking, applying mathematical operations. Limits to specific tool, strategy, or resource. If you want to write constructed goal, then you must append scaffolds with the goal statement so that learners have opportunity to achieve the learning goal. Now let's look at the traditional goal. The traditional goal was the students will write an essay to identify the central idea in article titled The Treasure Hunt. So what big barriers might be there? So students have difficulty with gathering idea. Students do not know how to format an essay. Students struggle with spelling. So what we need to give them? We need to give them scaffold, graphic organizer for gathering idea, paragraph sentence starter for format of essay. For the spellings, we can offer frequently misspelled list. Now, constructed goal with UDL scaffold, use graphic organizer. paragraph sentence starters, and a frequently misspelled list. As needed, student will write an essay over self-selected text. So these are scaffolds we can give by using the UDL framework. Let's little more about flexible and constricted verb. Whenever the standards start with the following, like explain, understand, communicate, summarize, compare and contrast, evaluate and describe, these are flexible standards. When you see the standards with write, solve, graph, and discuss, these are constricted standards. So pay attention to it. So we talked about our goals, we learned about constricted and flexible goals. Now let's look at the assessments. What is assessment? Assessment gathers information about learners' performance and to make educational decision. Assessments and learning goal, they are both tied together. So here are some questions when we discuss about assessment. So the question should be develop assessment to separate the means from the goals. Do students know, understand the success criteria, whether they are aware of what is being expected of them? How can learner monitor their progress or assess their learning? What are the barriers to assessment? Are there flexible ongoing opportunity to assess progress towards their learning goal? Use the UDL guidelines to design assessment to anticipate variability. Are the assessments are authentic? How does assessment plan to support all learners to become expert learners? So here are a few questions you need to ask when you are planning the assessments based on the learning goal. So now let's talk about it. Formative assessments are flexible assessments. They are like exit tickets. This is not the complete list. Do not do now question, general entries, pinch card, and survey. Summative, that are constructive assessment, state assessment, unit assessment, chapter assessment, and big picture. So these are constructed assessments. When you do the formative assessment, these are the questions. Plan how you will assess your student, identify their barriers within your assessment, because we all know that barriers are in curriculum, not in the learner. So we need to remove the barriers in curriculum. Looking at providing multiple means of action and expressions to fit all learners' needs. Like we need to offer a choice board for assessment. Now, ask these questions. Are you assessing to get a grade or identify what students have learned? If barriers are preventing the student from expressing their knowledge, removing the barrier, then remove the barriers. Now we are done with assessments. Let's go to the methods. What are the questions come to your mind when we talk about the methods? What are some questions you think? What methods I'm going to use? There are multiple ways the student can learn content, build background knowledge, and explore the knowledge and skills under the UDL. The student can choose methods the way which can learn. Instead of lecturing to all the students, that require the whole classroom to watch a video and revise, why not after a mini lesson? Students can choose to participate in a small group instruction. Watch a video which is already in the Google Classroom. Read a chapter in the course text and listen to an audio version of the text. Maybe we can screencastify and record it, put it in the Google Classroom. These are the questions if we want to offer the flexible methods to support our students to make progress on the goals. How the learning environment, which may be physical or remote, is it flexible to support learners to make the progress to their goals? What barriers? Use UDL guidelines to design flexible methods. How might learners design their methods to plan their learning? How do instructional methods support all learners to become expert learners? So now we finished method. Let's go to the materials. The materials are the resources that are presented to teach learning content and what the learning are used to demonstrate learning. You can set a buffet of resources for students to choose from. Offer them digital books, graphic organizers, type of paperwork, iPad, software, graphic organizer, post-it note exemplars, smart boards, dry erase board, and manipulators. Offer them choices and they can choose from the choices which work based on their learning needs. So now it's time to make connection. What connect these concepts? We planned a birthday and we planned a lesson plan with a UDL framework. Do you think it make some sense? What connect these concepts? We talked about the goal. Goal should be flexible. If it's constricted, we need to offer scaffolds. Then we talk about the assessments, that the assessment is a formative or summative. Then we talk about the methods. It should be flexible. Then we talk about the materials. Materials should be flexible and give a buffet of choices to the students so they can choose what work from them best. So the most important is consider learner variability and think about it and remove proactively all those barriers so they can reach to the goal. So I hope with this presentation we were able to connect that event planning and lesson planning is quite similar and we have drawn the parallel between both of them. So when you plan instruction, make sure be proactive in planning instruction, evaluate the classroom environment and culture, pre-plan and design instruction with embedded choices and scaffolds, design instruction for students of all abilities and identities, eliminate barriers proactively, engage students throughout the lesson with multiple means of representation and expression. Finally, if the child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. So here are the resources if you want to learn more about the UDL. So please go and go through these resources, and these resources have been used to develop this presentation. And here I thank you for watching my presentation, and I would like to thank Global Impact Virtual Conference, and I would like to thank ISD community leaders for giving me this opportunity to present my session. Thank you very much.